talking about woo, 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 like a cop car. Got the jump police coming for you. Hide your kids, hide your wives. So we had a little bit of drama in our Pro Race and MX Simulator at Salt Lake City, if you guys don't know. And they've kind of had this problem before, so I felt like I really needed to come in here and talk about it and kind of give my opinion on it, just for kind of future reference. And I think we all need to kind of figure this out here because it does seem to be a bit of a problem. So if you don't really know what happened, basically whenever they go in there and make their pro real life replica supercross tracks or motocross tracks for the actual pro racing in the game, sometimes we are actually able to hit a certain jump rhythm that isn't like technically considered realistic. It's like we hit a certain jump that they wouldn't normally be able to hit in real life, whether or not that was just made poorly or whatever the case may be. Doesn't really matter. We're hitting it like somewhat of a different way. So what they try to do is basically they try to say that you can't hit a certain jump rhythm. That's pretty much what they did. So during this race right here, when it first all started during the actual 250 heat races, basically they said that you couldn't hit this one jump over here. Well, first they said you could hit the jump, but if you land on the back of somebody, you're going to get black flagged for it. So let me just show you the jump so it makes more sense. So what we were kind of doing here is we were coming around, and instead of hitting, this is a main triple right here, and instead of actually tripling it, what you do is you go in here and double this. Of course, I'm going to come up short as fuck. Let me go over here and redo that. Sorry, I haven't played MX Sim in a day here, so I'm a little bit trying to have to re-figure this out. Oh, and then, of course, I overjump it the second jump. Wow, gotta love it, bro. Okay, let's see if I can get this shit right here. So what we did was, it's actually kind of hard to double a main triple when you think about it, because you're not used to hitting stuff like that. But what you do is you double the main triple, and then you jump out of the kind of the jump face of the triple landing, and you're able to jump all the way over that wall over there, if you guys notice that. So you've seen me jump plumb over the wall. I actually doubled over the wall. The quote-unquote normal line you would hit right here is you would hit this triple and not case that, but then you would just kind of roll over that wall right there. That's sort of the normal line. That's what you'll probably see them doing in real life. But on MX Simulator, sometimes you can go in there and find little trick lines and trick ways to hit stuff, and it doesn't look realistic at all, but you're still able to do it, basically. So you're going to save like pretty much a full second or a second and a half right there from hitting this. It seems like a smaller line at first, but it's really not, because being able to jump over a wall like that right there just saves you so much time, because you're not like smacking up that wall and losing all that momentum. So basically what the officials did is in the 250 heat races, they said that, well, you can still hit that line, but if you land on somebody that's like, if you land on somebody that hit this the quote-unquote proper way, where they triple this and they're rolling up this wall, well, if you're doubling over the wall and you land on somebody, you're going to get black flagged. You're going to get thrown out of the race. And right off the bat, I think it's absolutely just imbecile level stupid to say that you can't hit a certain rhythm on a track. Now, it's one thing if a rhythm like sort of cuts the track. You know how sometimes you'll get a rhythm that's like in a corner and you can almost like jump over the corner a little bit, like jump into it and kind of hit a certain rhythm like that. And even with that, I think that should be pretty much allowed all the way around, because shit, dude, that's just getting clever with your jumping. If you can find a way to double like through a corner, I just think that's kind of part of the racetrack. That's how I believe on it. You know, I want to get that straight right now. That's how I feel. You should be able to hit any sort of jump on the track, period. I don't care what it is. You should be able to do that. There should not be the risk of like, if I land on somebody, I get black flagged, or I'm not allowed to hit this jump or whatever. I just want to make that a really big point. I think it should be allowed to hit basically any jump they have on the track, any rhythm, anything that should be allowed to be hit. kind of seems like common sense, doesn't it? But it's really not to some people, but that's the way it should be. I don't care what it is. You should be able to triple, quad, five. If you can get enough speed in the corner, you should be allowed to fucking, let's just say you could somehow manage to get enough speed in this corner to hit this triple and quad all the way over this wall over here. You know what I'm saying? If you could actually quad over that, if you could do that, that should be allowed, in my opinion. Or you should be allowed to just double the main triple and jump out of it over a table. That's just normal. You're not even, I mean, when it gets to that level, when you're not even cutting the track at all, that should be allowed like 100%. I mean, you can see right here, you're not actually cutting the track at all if you're hitting that certain line. You're not even cutting the fucking track. And they were trying to tell us that if we landed on somebody, that we're going to get black flag for it. That was their first sort of stance on it, right? You can still jump it, but you're going to get black flagged if you land on somebody. So I was typing in chat between the 250 heat races there, and I was like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, first of all, I don't even understand how you can kind of make a rule like that when it's just a rhythm. It's just a rhythm. I mean, if you didn't want us to hit it that much, why didn't you just roll off the double of the main triple by 2 inches and we wouldn't have been able to even hit that line? That would have solved all your problems right there. I mean, seriously, like you can barely even hit it as it is. So if they would have just went in there and rolled this double off, let me kind of show you. Like if you'd have jumped right here and they would have rolled, well, technically it's actually the triple face right here. If they would have rolled this off right here just a little bit, you wouldn't even have been able to jump up over that. You wouldn't even have been able to get enough lip on that. And that would have solved all the problems right there. And it just seems like they don't even have any true... I don't even think the officials even knew about this line. Now, I could be wrong here. I'm kind of speaking out of my ass, but I don't even think the officials even knew about this line before us pros started qualifying on it. I don't even think they knew about it, or they would have done something. So that kind of goes to show you that I don't even think they've really got like top-notch level pros in there testing the tracks before they come out, or they would have found that line, pronto ASAP, and they would have been able to fix it. So that's a bit of a problem right there that the officials have going, and they may have some pros in there testing, right? They may have that, but what I'm saying is they should have been able to find this line right here and been able to fix that. There's multiple ways to fix being able to do that. Like you could have ramped up this actual wall face right here a little bit further to where you couldn't have jumped that. And I know they're trying to make replica tracks. I understand that. Okay, I get it. But it's like, it's not that big of a deal to change one little jump face to fix us from being able to hit whatever kind of rhythm you don't want us to hit, versus coming in here and saying, like, well, if we land on somebody, we get black flagged. And that's what I was trying to type to them in chat between the heat races. I was like, okay, like either you want us to hit that jump or you don't want us to hit that jump. I don't want a half rule here where it's like, okay, we can still hit it, but if we do and we land on somebody, then we get black flagged. It was almost like giving a carrot on the stick out there, but like, there was like such a risk to doing it, which didn't even make any sense at all. I mean, if you look at it in a very simple way, if you just look at it like a normal, logical thinking human, either they wanted us to hit it or they didn't want us to hit it. So it's either completely ban being able to hit the jump, period, or just let us hit it however we want to hit it without having the risk of being black flagged for landing on somebody. That's what I was trying to explain in chat. I was like, I mean, if you're going to go down that road, either let us hit it or don't let us hit it. I don't want a half rule. I don't want it to be where like the person in front of the race gets an advantage because obviously he's not going to land on anybody. So you're telling me he's going to get a 2-second a lap advantage just because he's in the front, just because he's hitting a rhythm that you say that we can't hit? If we land on somebody, we get black flags. So it's like, it just didn't make any sense at all. And what do you know, after me typing in chat like that, by the time the 450 heat races come around, they just totally banned it. They just said, nope, you can't hit the jump at all. So, Obviously, they didn't know what the hell they were doing on that. I mean, good Lord, man. I'm just glad they did finally make a decision on that before the 450 heat races came around. So basically, they just said we couldn't even hit that rhythm at all. So, like, they were basically forcing us to hit the main triple. Like, pretty much they were saying you cannot double over the wall. So even if you came over here and messed up, like, let's just say, oh, whatever, you fucked around right there, and then you, like, had to double this. So they were saying we had to roll this right here. You know, we couldn't jump up over the wall. You know, just absolute insanity as far as, like, thought process there. I mean, it's like, that's my whole thing. That with a lot of sort of, like, debate-type topics like that, it's very simple. A lot of times it's an A or B kind of thing. A lot of people kind of get caught up in making it kind of an in-between thing, but it's really not. Like most things in life, most decision-making things, if you'll look at it in a really simple way, a logical thinking way, then it's not that hard to figure out. And that's what I was trying to explain in chat. I was like, okay, so you're going to allow us to hit it, but if we land on somebody, we get black flags. So how does that even make any sense? That's like going back on what you're saying, because it's like you don't want us to hit it, because if we land on somebody, we get black flagged, as if it's like not a jump that we're supposed to be hitting, right? That's kind of how they're implying it, but you're saying we can still hit it anyways. We can still take the risk of hitting it. That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Like, what? I don't even understand that at all. And thank God, by the time the 450 heat races came around, they got their head on straight, and they realized, oh shit, that really doesn't make any sense. So let's go in here and just say you can't hit it at all. So either way, just wanted to say that. I mean, for all future reference, my first thought is do not say we can't hit a certain rhythm. Just don't do it. We're hitting whatever you build. Whatever you build for us, that's what we're hitting. We should be allowed to hit any rhythm out there, period. Doesn't matter what it is. Any kind of, I don't care if I'm doubling a triple. I don't care if I'm rolling over a damn triple. You know, if I come in here, roll over this triple, and somehow I can hit a faster rhythm like that, I should be allowed to do that. That's just, we're just going as fast as we can on the track. And just to say that we can't hit a jump, that just doesn't even make any sense. But what I was trying to get across to them is, if you are going to, like, if you don't want us to hit the jump, then just ban it. You know, just say we can't hit it. Don't, like, put this carrot on a stick out there. Like, we can risk it and possibly gain 2 seconds a lap, but if we land on somebody, we get totally kicked out of the race. Like, it's fucking retarded. Like, that was just a dumb decision by the officials there. It was like completely conflicting rule they had going there. And they've had this problem before, right? I remember them having a little bit of a problem. I think it was like Washougal National one year. There's a little bit of a kind of that little S corner. If you guys know the few little corners before the finish line on Washougal, kind of makes that little bit of an S. Well, in MX Simulator, sometimes you can kind of jump the corner a little bit and almost technically kind of cheat in a way if you're jumping. Like, let's see if I can find a spot where I actually do that here. It's going to have to be over here a little bit. I don't know if I can find a good spot to kind of show you, but let's see. Is this section? Oh, yeah. Maybe I can do it right here. So basically, it'd be like doing this right here. You know what I'm saying? Where you're kind of like jumping the corner. And I can see in certain occasions, like, good Lord, you're kind of cutting the track because you're jumping over tough blocks, right? Like, even though I think a lot of times that should be allowed, because especially if there's jumps really, really close, like let's say you're jumping out of this right here, and let's say this first jump over here was really close, like it started right here, and you could double over that without hitting this pole over here. Let's just say you could do that. I think that should be allowed, because that's just, you're not really cutting the track. I really don't feel like you're doing that in a lot of occasions. That's just my own personal, I just think it's fun. I think it's fun to kind of do like transfer style jumps like that. But yes, it does get out of hand if you're kind of saying like, well, can I just start doing this right here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can just start jumping shit like that and you're totally cutting the track. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's certain occasions where you can kind of get crafty with your jumping in a corner, and I feel like that should be allowed in most occasions, but it should always be allowed if you're not even cutting tough blocks. If you're not even jumping over a tough block, you should be able to hit that motherfucker any which way you want to, any which way you can possibly imagine, because you're just riding on the track. It shouldn't be a oh, you can't hit this certain rhythm, or oh, that's not allowed, or oh, if you do hit it and land on somebody, you get black flag. You're like, no, no, dog. That's not even what like supercross and motocross is. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's just stupid to say that. Like, I mean, and in real life, the reason why, I guarantee you, in real life, if it was faster, let's say they built the real life track identical to this, everything was the same, the bikes felt exactly the same power-wise, everything's 1000% the same. I guarantee you in real life, if it was faster to come up here and double this, and then jump up over the wall, that's how they would be hitting it. I promise you. That's how the pro riders would be hitting it. And I really don't think the officials would be like, oh, you can't do that. I just don't think they would do that. But that never happens because they build the tracks to where it's not even feasible. You can't even hit a jump like that. You know, they don't even make it to where you can double over a wall in real life. That's what I'm going into as far as like, if the track makers don't want us to hit it, then build it to where we can't hit it. And if you can't figure that out before the track comes out, then you don't have enough high-level riders in there testing your tracks before it comes out. And I know you're trying to make replica tracks, but it's okay to adjust one little jump face or one little thing to make it to where we couldn't hit that. Like I was saying, there's two different things they could have done here that would have made that impossible to hit that line, or would have made it just not even fast at all. They could have came in here, you know, you double this right here. They could have rolled this off by about 3 or 4 inches. Could have rolled this triple landing off by 3 or 4 inches. Obviously, it would have affected how you hit the main triple there. You know, it wouldn't have been as much of a landing, and I understand that, but still yet, you wouldn't have went through all this kerfuffle of having to figure out, am I banned for hitting this line, or am I not banned? What's going on? You know, they could have done that, but the better option would have been just make the wall a little bit taller. That would have been the best option. They could have came in here. The wall is actually not even that tall at all. Wow, I'm rhyming, dog. You guys know what it is. If they would have just made that wall face right there just a little bit taller, I'm talking like maybe 5 inch, just a little bit sharper. They kind of like rolled off the top of the wall there. If they had just made that a little bit sharper and you hit that same exact jump right there, you'd have just smacked right into it and did an endo into your face hole, and it would have been all over. And you wouldn't have even been able to hit this line right here. See how you're like barely getting over it as it is. All they would have had to do is raise that up just a little bit, make it a little more jagged, and you wouldn't have been able to do it. And that wouldn't even have really affected hitting the wall anyways, as it is, like normally. If you understand what I'm saying, like, let me come over here and show you. That wouldn't even have really affected much on the track whatsoever. Could have came over here, tripled this. Let's just say that wall's like a little bit more jagged. Well, you can't even really tell because you're kind of jumping over it like that. So that's what I'm saying. If it ever gets to that point where, for whatever reason, they've accidentally built the track to where it's faster to hit some weird line like that, just let us hit it. Let us hit it, or don't build it like that, period. That's just stupid to restrict, because then your qualifying is all out of whack. Like I'm saying, though, it's just, you need to just allow it. If that's how it is, just allow it. That's all there is to it. Because if you're not cutting the track, you're not cutting the track. I mean, you should be able to jump through whoops. You should be able to roll through whoops. You should be able to, if I wanted to, if I for some dumb reason thought rolling this finish line and then doubling this right here, let's say there was another jump out here and I could jump like that, double up over it, or whatever the case may be, I should be allowed to do that. I should be allowed to hit a rhythm any way that I want to. There should not be a restriction on how you're actually hitting certain rhythms. That's just insanity. Either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.